start a year later, or is it still the same year?
What did you just say? This is information from a reliable source. It appears that they found the murder of Satoshi's aunt. It had been a few weeks since the murder. Satoshi still hadn't been found. I have no new information on his whereabouts. Kasai's report came as a result completely out of the blue. Does that mean the police arrested the culprit? It seems that he confessed during his interrogation in another case. That sounds strange. If it was such a they arrested, he wouldn't have worded it that way. Some of us thought Satoshi's absence was the culprit. Kasai, who's the culprit? So wasn't Satoshi-kun. It swallowed those final words. I was convinced that it was Satoshi. The police in Orishi must have thought the same way. The reason Orishi approached him is because he was convinced that Satoshi's real. Don't worry. It doesn't seem like it's Satoshi. I heard it was a lunatic who is me to continue the series of mysterious deaths. What? A lunatic? What do you mean? Kasai shrugged. I don't know. Since the investigation is classified as a conditional case, the information I can get is limited. Conditional? Why? To prevent the village from developing a bad reputation. You don't see articles about kidnapping while the police are not investigating the culprit, do you? It's something similar to that. Come to think of it, I haven't seen anything about the aunt's murder on TV or in the newspaper. These strange deaths have happened for years in a row and on the day of Higurashi. There are those who try to make light of it. And now, this is a lunatic who confessed to aunt's murders that they did an invitation to a series of mysterious deaths. Since I didn't know anything else, so instead of probing her further, I reviewed the information myself. I was really shocked to learn all this. I was convinced that Satoshi killed her. I thought there was a reason he had to disappear. But it was actually some lunatic who killed her, and he had no relation of the aunt whatsoever. So Satoshi had nothing to do with the murder. If so, why did he disappear? I couldn't accept that this lunatic had killed his aunt. And what's really strange is his praise because I used 4 years in a row now. After all, I've been thinking this murder had happened because Satoshi had been in their situation and had nothing to do with the series of mysterious deaths. I felt as though Satoshi's case was somebody else's. Series of mysterious deaths in Hinamisawa is also known as the Curse of Oyashiro. Satoshi's case had become one of those mysterious deaths. In other words, Satoshi's case had become a part of Oyashiro's curse. I didn't like the way that sounded, because it always let us have a curse had swallowed Satoshi. Unfortunately, We haven't been able to confirm the tip that Satoshi took a train to Tokyo. We don't even know where or not he is in the prefecture, to be honest. She broke the seal of a new can of instant coffee. I thought you knew his whereabouts already, since you seemed very convinced he was the culprit. Nah, ha ha ha. You got me. She chuckled and poured a cup of coffee, which looked far too hot. You have something good sources? Huh? It's highly classified case, but you already have this information. I wonder who leaked it. Looks like we need to review our security precautions. She smirked. Seemed he knew why I was here today. I'm one of the Sonozakis after all. And my ears are open. I smirked back at him. It's all about bluffing. Anyway, since we're friends now, why don't we have a chat? Let me ask you first. Who's his real culprit? I heard he was a lunatic, but what does this mean? I don't know how to answer the question. I want to know he don't answer myself. Really, I was convinced Satoshi was the real culprit. It was rather surprising for me, too. She threw himself on the sofa and crossed his hands behind his head. He looked up at the ceiling and smiled wryly. I suddenly received a call from the prefectural police on the other day. They said that one of these guys in detention confessed the murder of his housewife. Who is it? He's a real piece of work who fell into a drug habit. He's been in and out of prison for drug abuse. His statement says that he was adventurous and serious and mysterious as and wanted to imitate him. Are you sure that he's the real culprit? I didn't interrogate him myself. But the professional police tells me that he has information that only the real culprit will know. He seems to have thrown the murder weapon into an Oji river. They're searching it for right now. It's found his statement will be solid. Even if the weapon wasn't found, would the case be closed? Probably. His statement clearly outlines the state of this crime scene and the body. This information, like I said, covers details that only the actual murderer would know. You don't seem quite convinced? Was she still looking up at the ceiling? Went quiet. As a matter of fact, the moron was already dead. By the time I got that call. Dead? You know these spoons that are forked at the tip. You use those as a detention faculty. I was told that you swallowed one and choked on it. They couldn't tell if it was a suicide or if it was caused by some mental disorder. I imagine somebody swallowing a spoon and gagged. So the investigation has been done that thoroughly. But although I'm not convinced my superiors are, I think that case will be closed. Alicia turned his eyes from the ceiling to me. He looked serious. This is just what I personally feel, okay? So please keep it between the two of us. I believe that this moron is some kind of mistake. It might be either a big misunderstanding caused by a chain of coincidence, so, you know. I have no idea what you're talking about. I still believe that the real culprit is Satoshi Hojo. You sound confident. Unfortunately, we couldn't find anything to prove he was a crime scene. We obtained a warrant to search his house after he disappeared. But we still found nothing. But you still believe he did it? Yes. I wonder how you can be so sure even though you don't have any evidence. It's incredible. Isn't that supposed to be like the hunch of an experienced detective? Yep. It's the hunch of a guy who's been in this business for decades. Well, she smiled in satisfaction, but I didn't feel relieved. Where did Satoshi go? His disappearance convinced me that he was the culprit. If he wasn't the culprit, there would be no real reason for him to disappear. What if the murder actually was done by that copycat and Satoshi's disappearance had nothing to do with it? In other words, what if Satoshi disappeared because of the Sonozaki family didn't like my relationship with them? And it has nothing to do with the murder? Satoshi culprit? Satoshi culprit or victim? The reason for his disappearance have become unclear. I don't think they'd bother. I don't think they'd bother to make one person disappear just because of an undeserving relationship. What do you hear from inside the Sonozaki family? Do you know anything? I wouldn't be here if it did. You're right. Rishi laughed out loud while scratching his head, and after he stopped laughing, he leaned over. Alright, how about this? Why don't we make a deal? A gentleman's deal. A deal? Oh, what? On information about Satoshi's disappearance. If you find any information like that, you tell me. And I'll also provide you for information I find any. We have a deal? That sounds too convenient for you. She chuckled. I think we leave things as they are. They'll conclude that the moron committed the murder. If that happens, such as his disappearance won't be treated as just another runaway minor. They won't search for him as exactly was for. but I'll continue searching for him. Only I will do it. I believe you're intending to do the same. Our motives are different, though. I just want to know if he's safe, but you'd like to arrest him, wouldn't you? If the murder case was considered solved, Satoshi will be free, regardless of its innocence. I don't doubt that. I doubt that. Oishi chuckled again, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. Well, let's be friends from now on. The enemy of your enemy is your friend, you know. I'm not opposed to the Sonosaki family, though. Oh, really? I apologize then. This is the way of Kuroda or Oishi, huh? Assistant Kasai said, I wouldn't want him at any of my alley because both will be rude. I probably shouldn't let my guard down in front of his big fat weasel. I sipped on the coffee to fill up the silence, though. I wasn't thirsty. Outside the window, I could see normal life taking its course, but Satoshi wasn't there. He shouldn't have to be there, but he wasn't. I was scared that I might grow used to Mrs. absence someday. Where was he? I wonder how Satoshi is doing. I hope he's alright. I know you're thinking I might be dead. Don't patronize me. Do you know what people are calling this disappearance in Hiyamizawa? Huh? They say that he was demoned away. Demon away. To be demoned away means the same thing as being spirited away. It's poets of the local dialect. He was kidnapped and taken to hell through the bottom of the Onigafuchi swamp. That's ridiculous. Anyway, the series of mysterious deaths is that struck for a fourth time. It's too soon, but people are already talking about next year. Are you saying that the murder was the result of Higurashi's curse? The victim was one of Hojo's after all. She was involved in the damn conflict, though indirectly. Really, it's not surprising that some people take an interest in the incidents because they do always happen on the day of Watanagashi. That's ridiculous too. Oh, Yashiro's curse? Though I said that, I couldn't quite wipe away from the fear from my mind. Why did Satoshi disappear? What's the Sonosaki family? Did he run away from the police? Did he really kill his aunt in the first place? Why did he even disappear? He's on his own. Oyashiro's curse had nothing to do with it. But, that's strange. Satoshi and Oyashiro's curse. Somebody once mentioned those two together before. When did I hear that? That's right. The rainy day. It's Brother Riku who told me that when we were talking to shelter in sack. Ah, I remember the creepy story that she told me at that time. Satoshi wants to leave Higurashi and run far away, even if only unconsciously. That's when Rina said. Rina had definitely pointed out that Satoshi wanted to leave Higurashi at that time. She also said, everything he goes through it is a sign of Yashura's curse. She said that for sure. She had definitely mentioned Yashura's curse. The series of mysterious death has struck for times. Was Satoshi being controlled by the curse? Is that why he killed his aunt and was demoned away? No way. That can't be true. Satoshi's smile faded away in my mind. Satoshi disappeared. Not only that, the reason for his disappearance also disappeared. It must have been done by a human being. I can't accept that he was demoned away. I've moved from one chair to another because he's moving and I know about my pancakes with a bunch of keychains in my cup of milk tea. I did it all in one go. I sat down in a new chair, then opened my notebook again. I scribbled my thoughts and sank into silence. Series of mysterious deaths. Dubbed the Curse of Yashiro. I've been viewing each incident as a separate case, even though it was followed by another one. I've never looked at all the cases as part of one big scene. After I wrote down all the incidents on paper, it became clear to me that all of them served the same agenda. I wrote down the victims. The first year, the construction site's manager. The second year, Satoshi's parents. The third year, the priest. The fourth year, Satoshi's aunt. For the fourth year, one could consider Satoshi himself to be the victim rather than his aunt. If I considered that each case around the grudge over the damn conflict, it's quite simple. In the first year, the construction manager was killed because he was the symbol of the damn construction itself. Of course, the real enemy was the Ministry of Construction, but it wasn't as clear as target. The manager on the one hand had been aggressively shouting back at the villagers, so he was a more appropriate enemy to attack. If Yashiro had really cursed someone who it would have been officials from the ministry, it's apparent that the target was selected based on the villagers' preference. The second year, the accidental death of Satoshi's parents. It's said that they fell from a cliff in some park, but it's doubtful that it was really an accident. His parents were labeled as traitors to the village because they sided with the damn construction, even though they were also from Higurashi. The Hojo family was terrorized during the damn conflict and over to prevent further pro-damn activists were burning up. And that means the Hojos were necessary during the conflict to play the role of the traitor. So when the conflict was over, they no longer served any purpose. The construction site manager was a symbol of the external enemy. The Hojos were a symbol of the internal enemy. Those people fell victim to the curse, and it seems that the grudge over the damn conflict had ended. Yes, though, incidents were followed by another one. The third year. The leader of one-third families of the Price Faraday suddenly died of an illness with an unknown case. His wife drowned himself on the same night. She seemed to have left a note that said she was sacrificing her personality and reaction was anger. Whether it was fatal disease or suicide, their deaths were suspicious. Mion admitted that Sonosaki's family didn't like the priest's tattoo. They didn't like how the priest had been generous toward the pro-damnists. The priest wasn't quite a traitor, but he was certainly uncooperative. Looking at these incidents, I realized that the curse was performed based on the degree of hostility. Enemy, traitor, and descendant. This means the curse is actually payment. It was punishment for the criminals' war. In the fourth year, I didn't understand the curse is fiercely honest. At first, I believed that this case was separate from other ones, even though it occurred the same day. I never thought that there would be any relation to the other three. But when I wrote down and looked at it objectively, the victim is a relative of traitor. After enemy, traitor, and descendant, the relative of a traitor doesn't sound too odd. It comes naturally for target. On the day the villagers worship Oriashiro, the guardian deity, the criminals of the down conflict has been punished by the cursed. Just like how I was forced to pay at the Sonosaki house, the criminals were made to pay as well. After writing these things out, I started thinking that the fourth incident might be in line with the series of the mysterious death after all. Where the Satoshi or the Tophead? It seemed that they were forced to play the role of a murderer as a part of a bigger scenario. Even if Satoshi was the real culprit, even if he killed his aunt because of an ordinary grudge, the murder seems synchronized with the grand scheme of the sentence of mysterious death in Hinamizawa, which is a payment plan for the war criminals. That murder was the result of his pain. But what if somebody planned that in part of the scenario? For instance, somebody might have suggested him to kill his aunt on that day, that night after that place. I have no doubts that Satoshi decided to kill her in order to protect Satoko, but he did really do that conclusion of his own. Satoshi was optimistic and somewhat detective of sorts. I know. Would he really have considered murdering his aunt even if he protected her sister? Couldn't it be possible for somebody to have chosen the aunt as fourth year's murderer beforehand and to use Satoshi? And Satoshi was eliminated because of his connection with them. Looking at it that way, the murder of the first year resembles that case. The main culprit behind that case hasn't been found yet, dead or alive. The other culprits testified that the fight has turned into a slaughter. But it wouldn't be impossible for that main culprit to have the same situation. Would it be told to kill someone at that day, at that time, in that place? I'm certain. The first murderer resembles Satoshi's case very much. So that means Satoshi was being controlled by somebody else. Oishi had presented me with the hypothesis that Satoshi family made Satoshi disappear, and in order to demand my register was murdered by one I read in the notes I wrote down. And his disappearance didn't seem so spontaneous. It seemed like a bit of quiet. Since I unexpectedly got in Nevada, pain separated from him. And Satoshi just standing the way it's like. At first, I do also believe that the Sonosaki family made him disappear because they didn't like that I was in love with a member of a family traders. But something didn't add up. Something felt strange. I don't know if it was a reason for disappearance. Even if I never met him in the first place. Satoshi was supposed to kill his dad in June 1982 and then disappear. At one point, I've been thinking of taking revenge of the hag. I believe that she separated us. But one of my wishes was such she had nothing to do with this disappearance. What would that mean? Who made Satoshi disappear? I need to understand a series of mysterious deaths and others to solve this mystery. What did all these deaths mean? Who's behind them? What purpose did they serve? I wanted to know the purpose of the motive and who was responsible. Who took Satoshi? I wanted to know if he was still alive. The series of mysterious deaths is Hanabizawa is also called Oyashiro's curse. What is that curse? Specifically, what kind of god is Oyashiro? What blessings did he bring and what punishments do he dole out? I wrote down my thoughts in a notebook. What's Oyashiro? What is he? I scribbled these things down. I was so absorbed by it that I didn't realize somebody has been standing behind me watching the whole time. I couldn't stop myself from gasping when I realized that. Woman, I'm sorry. Did I startle you? The intelligent-looking woman giggled. No. I was just a bit surprised. Sorry about that. No. She could have apologized a little better too, since she's been watching me from behind. But she just started at my face instead. Are you Shion Sonozaki? You must know since you know my name, but I don't know who you are. Being twins is a pain sometimes. People you never met before, they can tell exactly who you are. I'm sorry. The Sonozaki I know who never been seen in their library. So I assumed that you were here, twin sister. The woman giggled again. Well, you're right. I'm Shion Sonozaki. Nice to meet you. May I ask your name? Oh, sorry, I was trying to introduce myself first. She seemed to love her own hair because she kept running her fingers through it closely. I'm Mia Tanaka. You just call me Shion. Mia Shion. Nice to meet you, Tanaka Takano. She just continued to pretend to bug me. I hate meeting people like that. I closed my notebook and got ready to leave the desk. Oh, are you upset? Thank you for concern. I like to be alone when I'm thinking, so I'm moving to another spot. Excuse me? That's a shame. I thought we'd been gone friends. Did you? I don't think so. I finally met someone when the same person, a fellow researcher of Ayashiro's curse. I think it's quite unusual to meet someone like that. She saw my notes. My face reddened. These are just theories. It's all nonsense. Just childish scribbles. The series of mysterious deaths known as Higurashi curse. though each death is dependent and independent, all of them clearly share the same purpose. Each year, someone dies of the curse and someone else is sacrificed and disappears. What? What are you saying all of a sudden? Someone dies and someone else, what? I was taken aback by a word spell. I realized right away that she said something extraordinary. Did you notice that the number is 15 was even? Haven't you realized that yet? The number of victims is always even. I was confused, but I tried to figure out what that meant. The damn construction site manager died in the first year. There was only one victim. In the second year, the victims were the parents of Satoshi, so it was 2 people. In the third year, it was the priest. And for death was also planned his wife too again. And this year, for the 4th year, Satoshi's aunt died and Satoshi went missing. If Satoshi's disappearance was planned, the number of the victims was 2. It's true. Except for the first one, the victim always came in an even number 2. Wait. I have just concluded myself that the first chamber resembled the 4th one. The main culprit was still missing. He might be him away, just like Satoshi. See? Doesn't it make sense now? Takano sounded like a teacher who has showed me how to solve a difficult math problem. I wasn't quite convinced, but I couldn't deny what he said either. Did I give you enough hints? I really would enjoy the conversation with you, but I think you prefer being alone. I'm sorry that I wasn't respectful, Mio. Please call me Shihan. She seemed content that I changed my attitude. She kept giggling for a while. She didn't seem that reliable. I didn't want to be acquainted or wait for too long. But I don't get to talk to people very much. And what she said interested me. Let me introduce myself again. I'm Mio Takano. Call me Mio. Pleased to meet you, Mio. I'm Shion Sonozaki, Mio's twin sister. Please call me Shion. I took the hand of Mio and have a design to a constellation. Please tell me more. You said that there are always 2 victims. One dies due to the curse and the other one is a sacrifice? Shion. Before we get into that, could you tell me why you became interested in this? She leaned over and looked into my eyes. It was kind of uncomfortable. Mio, how much do you know about me? I guess you have an idea if you know my name. I don't know how much. Just that you recently returned from a boarding school. I see. So I think you can imagine that I want to know about the series of mysterious deaths. That happened while I was away. I'm just curious. I see. You're curious, eh? I got the impression that she knew what happened to Satoshi and me. Because she instantly recognized me as Sion, not Mia. I didn't know why I thought in that way she shouldn't have access to sources that didn't know if she does. It was in her eyes that made me think that way. Let me ask you a question this time. You called me fellow researcher of Higurashi's curse, didn't you? So why are you researching this curse? You also startled me that way, or that even number of victims that their serious death. It's true that him who's always reached this earth and called Yeshua's curse. But why do you still mean the mysterious death if you're researching the curse itself? Shion, you're asking too many questions at once. I can't tell what you really want to know. No, I couldn't say anything in turn. Maybe I've been too inclusive. I'll answer your questions one by one. I'm not just researching the curses. My subject is more broader than that. I'm researching the history of the Satoshi village. No, I'm playing terms. I'm researching the document and the ancient history of the end result. No. Higurashi village? It's an onyx virtually the bottom of swamp, but some people believe it's coming from hell. And what does dark history? I kept asking questions. Mio, however, looked up, please. Higurashi village is the old name for Hinibizawa, as it was known back before the Meiji era. About the dark history. You know a little bit about man-eating demons, I assume. The man-eating demons, huh? That was a fairy tale and whole told on Himizawa. A long time ago, demons came out of the swamp while the villagers battled with them. They ended up living peaceably together. The villagers transcended and even became sacred people, having a demon blood in their veins. That long-forgotten fairy tale came back to my name vividly. You know the story because you're a villager, of course. But what about the story of Cannibal Banquet? Hey, what's that? You know that the villagers have the blood of man-eating demons in their veins, don't you? Yeah, I think I've heard of it. I dodged the question. Hinamizawa used to be a desolate village, but it grew in prominence after the Second World War and expanded its influence volcanoes and other areas. The people who disliked and discriminated against the villagers called us meaning aiming demons. I remember that. Young villagers don't take it seriously, but the older people can take it seriously and accept about it. They certainly can't take it as a joke. So the term meaning demons is forbidden. We normally never use it. Even during my ruler's face, never spoke those words. Mio, however, seemed to have no quarrel to sing it out loud. Are you upset? About what? I know people hate that person and the result. I apologize if I made you feel uncomfortable. The old people who wouldn't like it, but I'm fine. Would you continue? Thanks. Okay, so the ancient villagers had a custom of cannibalism. They ritualized this custom and held various ceremonies based around it. The festival held in June isn't just a summer festival. It used to be a banquet in which villagers chased after sacrifice and ate them. They bound the sacrifice at the table, gutted them, and dumped the organs into a river. Water can mean cutting, but it also means organs. That's the meaning of the word Watanagashi. Organ death drifting? What kind of Watanagashi? Indeed. I believe they started using this for the whole around the Meiji era. According to my research, they wouldn't be able to do it probably normal nowadays. Everything Mio was talking about sounded startling. I was just taken aback. I couldn't really believe it right away. She sensed that from my expression. It's not a hoax. It didn't make any of this up. If you promise not to tell anyone, I can't show you a note on Watanagashi. I can't. Mio took out a notebook from her bag and flipped through it. She appeared to be doing her research slowly. Thank you. I'd love to read it. Sure. I'd like to keep it confidential. But I guess I should share it with a fellow researcher. Mio handed me the notebook a bit hesitantly. It looked like it took the whole night to finish reading. It was densely packed with information. I saw copies of various documents and quotes in there too. It wasn't just some delusion of us. You told me that one person dies because of the curse and another person is sacrificed in Disappearance, right? A person is sacrificed and disappears. Satoshi had gone missing. Did he become a sacrifice? What is sacrifice anyway? Mio looked pleased to her my questions again. She took out another notebook and handed it to me. I think you will understand once you read it, but I'll give it you a definition. Yeshua's curse is simply Yeshua's anger. Yeshua's anger. In other words, the curse is by Yeshua's anger. Do you follow? Yes? You're saying that Yeshua was mad at the curse that caused the villages during the damn conflict, and that's what curse occurred. That's right. Yeshua's anger has been pacified. If not, something even worse will occur. So all the successive priests of the Faraday Shrine has become sacrificed even time to curse stick and other pacify Yeshua's son, Yeshua. It's called a sacrificial ritual. So each year on the day in Watanagashi, one person dies before the curse, and another one to sacrifice people to pacify Yeshua's anger. But only one person is actually murdered each time. I never heard of human sacrifice being made. Naturally, there's no body. The ritual of sacrifice requires the offering being sunk into an onigashima swamp. That swamp is bottomless, and no one would ever surface once they were thrown in there. No body would never be found, of course. So one of the victims is always thrown in the swamp every year? Does that mean Satoshi is always at the bottom of that dark green swamp? I don't know. I'm not sure that they really thrown them into the swamp. But if those who make these incidents happen, they must be eliminating one person based on that legend. Each year, a traitor to the village dies on the Watanagashi because of Yashua's curse. And another person is sacrificed in order to pacify Yashua's anger. That person's body will never be found because of it's supposed to be thrown bottom of the swamp. Yes, you get it. There's a series of mysterious deaths always involved because both the curse and sacrifice. It's the system that allows two traitors to die every year. Why am I telling you no now probably isn't sufficient? So maybe you don't know how to grasp. Instead, I want you to take the time to read my notes. You'll see that what I'm telling you isn't far from the truth at all. I heard a man's voice just then. A middle-aged man with heft was in the meadow from the entrance. Sorry, I think I have to go. I want to talk to you more.
If your loved one has suffered from bed sores, falls, broken bones, dehydration, or even death, you may be entitled to a substantial settlement. If you have a loved one who is
But I guess we'll have to detach the chat. Leave those notes to you. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions. Mio wrapped up the conversation and headed to where the man was waiting for her. She left her old notebooks in my hands. Mio waved at me as she left in the library with her companion. I took a seat again and opened what she'd given me. What bothered me was the serious and mysterious deaths, also known as the curse of the Yashua. Maybe I'd be able to get closer to the truth by reading these notebooks. If I studied them carefully, I might be able to find out who was really behind the incidents. Why did Satoshi have to disappear? What is involved and how did that happen? Maybe Taka's golden notes will bring the answer. Research notes. Mio Tankano. I started flipping the pages this time to make sure that no one's watching over his shoulder. It was time for the library to close. I had to leave. I bought some food on my way home. I shut my door and locked it right away. Then I heard the door in the neighboring apartment open. 'Cause I lived next door. Nobody else lived on this floor of the nearly empty apartment building away. I clearly heard the door open and close. Kasai must have noticed that I came home and was coming over because he wanted to talk to me. I locked up the door and shouted out to him. Is that you, Kasai? I will leave the door unlocked for you. I'm not Kasai. Shion. Kasai. I'm not Kasai. Shion. That voice. I twitched. Can I come in? Sure. Sis. The door slowly opened. My adult ego man as soon as appeared. She was holding a box of cake while smiling timidly. Are you going to keep standing in there until I escort you? Come in. Sorry, Miss Room doesn't look very cute. It looks comfortable. Sis looked a bit tense while entering my room. It was her first time there. How's life? My new school isn't boring as I thought it would be. I usually go to bed and skip the classes when I don't feel up to it. I couldn't do that when I was going to St. Lucia's. So St. Lucia's was really tough, huh? You should go there sometime. Sorry. I brought cake. Let's see. Mion opened the box, saw 2 cheesecakes there. We have the same taste in fruit, so we don't have to fight if we get 2 of the same day. I chatted with their own girl for the chase. I talked to her about school and whatnot. If you needed furniture, tell me. I might be able to get some for you. I finally got used to this room, but I'm about soon, so furniture won't be necessary. Thanks, though. Dad wants me to come back home. I don't want to live with him, but he sounds desperate. He'd be pleased if you came here. He looked lonely while you were gone. You came over the same because you don't have to live with him. Come to think of it, it was the first time I talked to Sis since I was allowed to leave when I was like, she didn't look like how she was at Sonozaki house that day. The Sasexo has Sonozaki family and my twin sister, 2 different people. The demon is cited later as the Sonozakis. Our bodies are exactly the same except for the tattoo of a demon on the back. Mion's destiny is a success. It was set in stone when she got that tattoo. It's pretty simple. The Mion from that right was different from the Mion before me. When I was forced to tear off my fingernails and mentally despised her. But if I were the next leader of the family, I'd done the same. Shion, how are your fingernails? The wounds have closed. I don't bandage them anymore because it looks too conspicuous. But it danced slowly so I don't really show them to people. And it's soon there, displaying my incomplete fingernails. Mion grew quiet and looked down. You don't have to apologize. You don't know what I had to do. You just played the real successor. I'm not holding any grudges. I'm sorry. Okay. Apology accepted. But if you apologize one more time, that'll be canceled. I won't forgive you for the rest of my life. Huh? What do you mean? Once you start apologizing, you never stop. So I'm cutting you off. Will you really forgive me? About Satoshi as well? My heart ached when she mentioned his name. I felt just like the ache of an old wound. I figured you loved him. No wonder I shouted out loud in front of all of you. I'm not embarrassed anymore. Granny truly believes you untoned. She thinks you've done all you needed to do. So the matter is finished. That's good. My pain won't go to waste then. I wonder where Satoshi disappeared to now. Sorry, choking when I hear you say that. I just said it to myself. I said that if I could go completely, but that promise instantly evaporated. Just because of what she said, I felt like I turned to the completely different person. Why did you just say Neil? Did you say I wanted to let Satoshi disappear too? Who else could know other than you and your folks? What did you say? Where did he go? I felt my eyeballs burn in anger. I felt as though I was able to pop. I choked on the burning sentences of my throat. Mia's expression rapidly changed. It looked like she noticed the devil's mask on my face. We were one and the same. We could understand each other so well when we first met. So showing her expression was unveiling everything in our hearts would be. Sorry. Even though I told her not to apologize anymore, Mion apologized. I felt like strangling her. I was going to make her confess while she had hit Satoshi. If she told me she'd throw him on the food cheese or strangled her to death. I really don't know what happened to Satoshi. That's a lie. It's true. Granny doesn't know about anything either. Please believe me. That's a lie. Are you saying I was cursed even in a way? That can't be cursed. That can't be. Words keep coming out of my mouth like I was chanting a spell. I wasn't speaking by my own will anymore. I was a demon who was controlling me. Oh! The demon that been sleeping deep inside me and woke up and was speaking from my mouth. The demon's hand grabbed me in by the neck. Huh? No!
No, thank you, Papa.
No, thank you, Papa. You guys, demons, Satoshi away.
Hey, you better put
You
them
need to
socks
show
on,
stuff your
okay?
family. Okay!
And I mean it, don't you?
Give
don't
him back
you
to me.
Don't you get on the floor without those socks on.
Okay. Give it back. My hand slowly but sure squeezed Mion's neck. Mion put her hands onto mine. I looked at her fingers. 3 of fingernails in her mouth that looked ugly as mine. Mion, what's this? Tears rolled down her cheeks. She didn't have to answer. She had the same scars as I did. She turned as well. The way those wounds were healing looked the same as mine. So did she get these wounds around the same time as I did? It was unfair that we had to go through that. I feel so bad. I stood there, pressed for the rise in Mion's neck. Since I found out you love Satoshi, I really wanted you to be happy. Because it's always only you who suffer, even though since I learned to suffer, even towards us, towards her. I didn't come out as surprisingly that Neon might always love Satoshi, and as I did. We'd always liked that same stuff, and even the same people. She was stupid enough to feel obligated towards someone like me. I told Granny to leave you and Satoshi alone. I shouted at her. And she said to him that you'll be every time you see him to me. And you do. So you were supposed to live happily with him. But Satoshi has gone anyway. That's terrible. That's... Meme isn't smart enough so she's crocodile tears. Those tears were real. Her tears dissolved my demon's anger like how the sun melts ice. Believe me, Shion. I really don't know why Satoshi disappeared. Neither Granny nor the Sasaki family had anything to do with it. Granny forgave you. So she would never do anything to him. Mion, I'm so sorry. Did I hurt you? I took my hands off her neck and held her instead. I'm not hurt. You've been hurt a lot more than me, haven't you? I showed at the demon in my mind. I believed in Mion. I've been convinced it was the Nizaki family that made Satoshi disappear. But Mion denied it, while shedding tears. Between her and me, her tears are more convincing than any words. So I believe in her. I absolutely was the Sasaki family that made her disappear. So do you really think that Satoshi disappeared because of reaction to a curse? I don't believe in curses. And Mion didn't do it. If it wasn't a curse of the Sasaki family, who denounced him away? I don't know. It's just someone else, not Mion. It's not the Sasaki family because Mion says so. That's stupid, Shion. Are you going to ignore Satoshi's voice? I know. You don't have to remind me, demon. I can't hear this voice. I know he's mumbling with ambling question like he always used to do. Even if he won't have help when come. I'll help him no matter what. I'll save him if he's alive. I'll avenge him if he's dead. But Mion didn't do it. You just want to take him out somebody. It doesn't matter who. I'm Shion, not a demon. You're only a part of me. Don't try to take control. Fuck off. Don't ever show up again. The demon faded away. My body went limp, and I fell to the floor while holding me up. Shion, are you alright? I'm alright now, Mion. Why are we two different individuals? Why can't we just be one? Stop it! We've asked ourselves that so many times. But there's no answer. I'm Shion and you're Mion. That's just how it is. I don't care if I'm Mion or Shion. I just wanted to be one and equal with you. There's nothing we can do. You had the demon on your back. You're destined to become the successor. We can't change that. I don't want that. I don't need a demon. I don't want it. I'm not a demon. I'm not. I don't want to be human like you. Mion is a demon and Shion is a human. Even though we're twins, there's a difference between us. Wasn't it possible for humans to live with demons after all? It should be possible, but they didn't before. That's the legend of Hinamizawa. Humans and demons lived in harmony together as Oyashiro watched over them. Mion, Shion, Satoshi, demons, humans. Oyashiro's curse, the series of mysterious deaths. Satoshi's disappearance. We fell asleep while holding each other. While holding everything. I saw Mion snuck a few times later. At her core, she was fastened with the bazaar, and she had an unstable curiosity just as strong. I had to remind myself not to take her story too seriously. Otherwise, I might start to believe that Satoshi disappeared because of the curse. She talks about the dark history of Hinamizawa a lot. It's all very interesting. Her theories are based on nothing but conjecture, but some interpretation covers the fact that only members of the Saki family. She thinks that Higurashi is cursed in the continuation of these ancient rituals. In other words, she believes that curses performed by religious fanatics. According to her theory, a religious cult once existed in Hinamizawa, and the three families stemmed from it. She believes that they are pretty much behind the scenes in order to revive the dignity of people who lost during the Meiji era. Mio's theories are far-reaching, and looking at them on a larger scale, that end up making a lot of sense. But they can't afford any installation for Satoshi's disappearance, and using them on a smaller one. Theories are just too round. I exchange information with Oishi every now and then. We'd each expect new leads from each other, but neither of us had any luck. I no longer believe that Seb and Satoshi met out here to Tokyo. It was clearly bogus anyway. Although I kept preferring Higurashi, he's been fair about the deal. He alone has been serious about uncovering many news and information. I searched the rival, so whenever I found some Dilmer's tip, I checked with them to see if it was valid. My meetings with them diminished in frequency simply but decided to many new cases. Eventually, we stopped meeting entirely. Oishi stopped investigating, and I reached the limits of a source of information. People now think that Satoshi's disappearance was a supernatural phenomenon called demoning away. In Hinamizawa, they refer to his disappearance as an amateur, so nobody would talk about it otherwise. I don't like the way that phrase is used here recently. During the upheaval surrounding Oyashiro's curse in 1982, I was pulled aside in that bad news of Satoshi's disappearance. Every time I found information that looked promising, I kept changing my theories. But that also became an incredible burden on me. It wore me down plenty on its own. The fatigue was harsh, but it also provided a very kind acceptance. But bit by bit, it soothed away the anger, sadness, and doubt that weighed me down. I'll never forget Satoshi. I'll never try to forget him and move on. I constantly repeated those to myself in my head. I repeated them to keep my memories of Satoshi from fading over and over. For the sake of my fond memories of Satoshi, together with my fear and my sadness, I created them forever and ever.